Hey guys, I've been working out the Dread Wrath fight. At this point, I have perfect scored 270%. I am unable to damage cap with the final defense mod on. So we're going to turn on everything except the final defense and spirit. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you have a strong enough team, you can turn that on as well and still cap. I've come close. Well, not that close really, but I've tried it, and I think it's possible, but I'm not entirely sure if my gear and team specifically can do it. So if you're going to copy this clear, if you don't have the Seraph Staff, you got to leave this one turned off. This can only be turned on if you own the Seraph Staff. The enhanced Seraph Staff has got to be enhanced as well. If you don't own it, just turn it off and the clear, otherwise it's unchanged. If you do own it, you can turn this on and it'll be fine. If you're struggling to survive, turn off the attack and magic mod. That increases the boss's damage a ton, but we're going to deal with it. Okay, so here's the party, pretty similar to the one I did earlier. I've just heavily optimized my gear and turn actions, etc. And I'll be explaining the way we're going as we go through this fight. Okay, so here's the ambush. We're all slept because the sleep ignores immunity if you have the modifier on. Seraph Staff is the only thing in the entire game that can prevent that sleep. That's why if you don't have that staff, you've got to turn off that modifier. So Chow started in the shift form with the staff. Now we're going to go to the base form. We're going to Most Loyal to cure the party and wake them up, Focused Inspiration for mitigations, and Kind Protector for general mitigation. Alright, Kresnik in the shift form is going to Stimulant to start that morale fill. Now, morale fill is probably the biggest problem I'm having in this fight, is getting my morale high enough to deal good damage. Frievia is going to Quadruple. We're going to Magnus, Field, Riposte, and Preparation. Wait for all this to finish. Then we're going to Shift Sky and do Sky's Shifted LB to stack it up. Esther is going to Calamity Border in the shift form. I didn't start in the shift form by accident. Whoops, should have. Oh well. Calamity Border in the shift form. And then Roberta is going to, in the shift form, Rousing Roar for morale, Dragon Killer for the permanent attack buff, and Magnus to boost modifiers. Okay. So turn 1, the boss has no accuracy. Everyone has evasion with accuracy down on the boss. So 50 or better evasion on the whole party. The magic damage is being covered by Chow. He's got some dark, wind, and bulk resistance. So with the attack and magic modifiers on, the boss has a ton of damage, as you can see. But my Chow can mostly survive it. It is very hard to survive this boss with the attack and magic modifier on. So again, turn off that mod if you cannot survive the incoming damage. Now also Chow full counter build. Again, that's like the primary source of morale is Chow countering. And if you don't have Chow, slim pickings for filling that morale gauge within 5 turns. I don't really have a good solution for you. I'm using Chow and Kresnik, the 2 best morale sources in the entire game, and it's still not enough. So this turn, Chow is going to just triple cast, again, morale fill. So Most Loyal and True Guardian. Kresnik, not yet. Not Kresnik yet. We're going to use Sky to stack again. Frievia is going to go to the shift form. We're going to do Magnus, Engard, and Flick. Make sure you do this before doing Kresnik, because this will dispel the imbue if you don't on the boss. Esther is going to Energizing and double Shatterbolt. Roberta is going to stay in the shift form. We're going to Morale and then just hit the boss twice. Now Kresnik is going to imbue the boss with Holy. Do that as the very last action. Okay. So we're going to absorb Holy. Most of the party is immune to Holy, so we take a little bit less from the non-elemental AoE. The wind AoE will be mixing elements, and that'll still make us lose some morale. The magic is being covered by Chow. Okay. Okay. Some counters. Not quite as many counters this turn because we healed from the physical, and you don't counter healing, obviously. So a little bit less counters here. Alright, so that was turn 2. Now turn 3, the boss is going to cure his attack break at the start of the turn, which means the physical damage on turn 3 is going to hurt a lot. Now, even though the boss is still imbued with Holy, I wanted to intentionally not make my Chow immune to the damage. So we're going to use Kresnik. Go ahead. I'll show you during the fight. Let's go ahead and Arcane Antioxidant to cure Imperils as well as resist buff. Chow is going to Omni cover this turn. Sky is going to stack her LB. We're going to go to the base form with Frievia. And we're going to field and then do her 3 chains. Don't do the Magnus again. Roberta to the base form where we're going to LB. And Esther is going to Golem this turn. Okay, so once the boss puts his Imperil up, I'll show you what I'm talking about for my resistances. Okay, there's the Imperil. Okay, look at my Chow. With the Imperil, he's got 95% Holy Resist, 95% Dark Resist, and 75% Wind Resist. This means he's not immune to any of the damage. This means he will counterattack every single attack. If you're immune to damage from resistance, you will not counter. But he's got close to 100%, so he takes minimal damage. It's still pretty painful, though. This is not the worst turn. Next turn is going to hurt a little bit more. That's the gravity damage. Don't worry about that. Gravity does a certain amount specific. Okay, so we really need a lot of counters on Chow. So we need to get that morale gauge as high as we can. We're going to be bursting on turn 5, and the morale is really critical to dealing damage. Well, that's why I'm a little bit frustrated here, because I have gone through everything I can think of to fill morale to 200% by the burst turn. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. So yeah, so you know, these counters do help. Like this is a big part of why morale is where we're getting it to, but it's still just not enough. Unless, you know, maybe during this video, Chow will just counter more than usual, and we will have a ton of things, a ton of morales. Whatever, good enough. Okay, so we're going to get set up for the burst next turn. So Sky, after doing 3 LBs, is now max stack. We're going to Tyva's Spirit. Chow is going to just triple fill morale, Guardian, Loyal, Guardian. Kresnik is back in the base form now. He's going to help morale, so we're going to supplement and double potion. Roberta is going to Rousing. We're going to Mega Breath, and we're going to Ignitos Domain. That's going to cure Imperils and also give a big barrier to Chow. Frievia in the shift form. Make sure you don't use the Magnus this turn. We're going to do Coop, Flick, and Bind. Just 3 different chains. And Esther to the base form, where we're going to Calm, Bolting, and Slice. Yeah. Okay. It looks like we actually pushed morale all the way to the next threshold. That's way higher than I'm used to. And now I feel bad that I don't have the last defense mod on, because I've never pushed the morale that high. So with... I think it's possible I could maybe cap if I could get there with all modifiers on. Maybe it's just variance, maybe it's just randomness on counters. So I have to just spend the next 2 weeks running this fight until I get all that on with all the modifiers and see if I can damage cap. It'll be something to do, but in any case, this is the 270 damage cap clear, where we don't have one of the defense mods on. Anyway, now it is time to enter Phase 2. So we're going to wait for all this to finish. Decent morale. The good news is, even though we can't fill morale all the way, this is good for the morale score. The morale score is pretty much a given. Man, if we had one more turn to build morale, this would be so much better, but we don't. Okay, so wait for all this to finish. Okay, Sky to the shift form with Tyvis as STMR. We're going to cap. Esther, LB. We're going to shift Chow, and in the shift form, he is using the Lightning Bolt Barrage. Frievia is going to do her shifted LB. Roberta is going to quad Mystic. We're going to turn the attack and magic buff. Usually I don't have that, so if you don't have it, you know, you don't do it. It's fine. This is very, very important though. Notice how we're all imperiled to wind and dark. We're going to use Kresnik to cure that before we burst. So we're going to potion, antioxidant to cure the imperils, and actually, you know, we're going to do even better. We're going to do supplement, antioxidant, and remedy. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we currently have the ice field active, and the ice field is better than Esther's field, we're going to start Roberta, let her build the chain, then we're going to send Frievia, then we're going to send Sky, then we're going to send Esther and Chow. So this should be a pretty easy 2.5 with one of the modifiers turned off. So here we go. Okay. And this also gives us the 100 count chain score. So we need 2.5. It should be totally doable. There it is, 2.8. Okay, so we're going to wait for right here. Okay, right here. Let me show you. Oh, not yet. Okay, wait for. There it is. Dreamscape. Okay, so notice the entire party is sleeping. Even Chow is sleeping, even though you can see down here he's got the Seraph Staff up again. I've seen people say without the Seraph Staff they can't handle the threshold. It doesn't really matter because the whole party is going to be sleeping on the threshold. They're imperiled. You see these status ailments. Chow with the Seraph Staff doesn't have the imperiled in the negatives, but he still doesn't have immunity. Everyone is going to be sleeping on the threshold. So what the boss is going to do, he's going to sleep the party on turn 5 and then do 2 single target attacks, a wind and a dark single target attack. As you notice, our Chow with his passive provoking has, after curing the imperils, has immunity to dark and wind. Then because the whole party is sleeping, the boss is going to, what's it called? We're all going to be sleeping on turn 5. So then the boss is going to skip our turn 6, and then the boss is going to take his turn 6. He's going to do an AoE attack. It might kill some people, but we've got guts on the party. So let me show you the threshold and how it's handled. Okay, there's turn 5, and here's turn 6. Here's the AoE, some attacks. Guts, boom. So you want your whole party to have guts when you do this strategy. So we survived the threshold, we woke up, no one's asleep. If anyone was asleep, Chow would go to the base form and he would do Kind Protector, because we got completely dispelled. We're all dispelled, the boss is losing his breaks, etc. So you gotta keep all that in mind. So Chow on this turn is going to Kind Protector, Focused Inspiration again, and if people were sleeping, you could do Most Loyal of Hearts to wake them up. Or if Chow was sleeping still, sometimes people will still be asleep as this next turn starts. You could do the Cure with Kresnik. Okay, so what Kresnik is going to do is Medicinal Potion to heal people. We're going to do Medicinal Mastery in this phase. This is 50% human mitigation, which is really, really good. And then we're going to do Break Immunity, which is, I think this one, Medicinal Remedy. Yeah, Break Immunity. Okay. Also, like I mentioned, the boss is getting ready, or his breaks are wearing off. So we're going to Aurora Pressure to Perfect Dispel the boss and break him again. End Guard for boost again. And we're going to Flick to get ready to burst some more. Roberta is going to quad. Oh, nope, no, we're not. We're going to triple. We're going to Magnet. I'm going to Morale. We're going to Mega Breath to unlock triple cast. And we're going to do Support from the Skies. That's going to give a multi-stack Mirage to our Chow, who is currently in danger, because the boss really freaking hurts. Sky can go to the base form, where we're going to Magnus to reapply the Spear in Peril, because it's currently gone. And then Esther is going to get herself ready with Calm Before the Storm, Energizing Bunny for the Killer, and we're going to do Quantum Storm on Kresnik. Make sure you do that. That is very important for the way we're going to be doing this next few turns. Okay. Phase 2, the boss is pure single target. All single target damage. So Chow is going to just provoke it all. We miraged most of it, and there we go. And then some debuffs, etc. Not really too worried about that. It seems fine right now. He's going to get harder in a second when we go to burst him. A lot harder. It's going to be. It's going to get more dangerous. I promise here. Okay. So we also lost all of our buffs for the ice support. The ice field is gone. The ice imbue is gone. Amplify. So we're going to go to the base form with Ferevia this turn. Quadruple. We're going to Magnus, ice support, riposte, and preparation to reapply all the buffs for the party to get ready for some bursting. Okay, so Chow is going to guard this turn for more mitigation because this boss hurts. Esther, LB, we're gonna support chain with Kresnik this time with Chain Lightning. We're going to Breath with Roberta, and we're going to Shift and LB with Sky and Cap. Okay, let's go ahead and do the Defense and Spirit modifier. Let's do the Attack and Magic modifier, or Morale skill. Let's also do the Resistant Will for morale gain. We don't need healing, so we're good on there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and burst. We're not going to kill the boss, though, because the boss is bulky. So we're going to start our Roberta to get that chain built, also because she doesn't want the LB field from Esther. Then we're going to chain these up. And the boss, it probably won't finish him off. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't finish him off. But now he's in, like, phase 3, so to speak. He's going to gain an attack and magic buff now. So he's going to start dealing a lot more damage. And we already got the attack and magic modifier turned on. There you go. Bunch of damage. It might even kill our Chow. If it does, it doesn't really matter. He's going to re-raise and keep provoking. Yeah, he might die, he might not. It depends, and he's going to die. Yep. Comes right back. Not a problem. He still provokes. He might die again. He's got guts. There we go. So our Chow tanked like a boss. Like I said, this boss really freaking hurts with that attack and magic modifier turned on. Really. Alright, let's do our attack and magic mod. And now it is time to finish off the boss. So we're going to shift Chow. We're going to, let's see, triple bolting, and then just whatever. Esther is going to triple bolting, so calm and double bolting. Sky doesn't have his LB. I should quad attack Kresnik so I could fill it. Yeah, we can't fill Sky's LB, so we're gonna just triple bolting Sky as well. So we'll do the LB of Ferevia, who has now been recharged and buffed the party. Roberta will quad Mystic. And I can try filling LB on Sky. It's not going to. It's not enough. It's not enough. Damn it. Damn it, Sky. Alright, so we'll just do some morale stuff. So this. To make sure we get the morale score done. The LB field is already up at this point, so it doesn't really matter what we do. So we'll just send Roberta first. Wait. Chain build. Send everyone else. And there's the end of the boss. Okay, so that should have been a perfect score on 270%. All modifiers except the small defense and spirit modifier. I'll show you the gear and all in a second and explain what's going on. Not a cheap clear by any stretch of the imagination. This basically requires most of the units I use. And there might be some swaps with like some stuff, but yeah, perfect score, 270%. Here's the damage breakdown. Again, it's a little tricky to look at these damage breakdowns because, for example, Esther only got 2 LBs. Roberta got 3 turns of chaining. Sky got like 2 or 3 LBs off. I don't know. I really wish there was like a turn-by-turn breakdown, but there isn't. So there we go. And we get no red pearl. Okay, so show you the gear and explain the stuff. Okay, so Chow is starting in the shift form with the Seraph Staff. Again, if you don't have the staff, don't turn on the ailment mod, and then just make sure your party is wearing sleep immunity in their starting form. So Chow in the shift form is using Seraph. A lot of auto buffing. Miracle Shoes, kind of a big deal because we don't have physical mitigation for a lot of turns. So well, not Miracle Shoes specifically, but some kind of auto protect. Lightning Fast Legend to chain Extreme Nova. Other than that, make sure he's got 150 or better to Wind and Dark Resist. That way, when we do the Threshold, he's immune to the single target attacks on the Threshold itself. So there we go. Base form, like I said, you want to micromanage your resistances so that you're almost immune, but not entirely immune to light, dark, and wind after the buffs. So 215 to dark and wind is the goal, and 65 is the goal for light resist. So light resist is perfect, dark resist is perfect. It'd be nice if I could have fit 20 more wind resist, but you know, I couldn't. So here's the gear. Also, very important, Blizzard Orb and then counter up sources. Cypher's Coat and Looming Wrath are the best options. They're limited options. You know, Proof of Talent or like Tifa's Gloves, etc. are some other alternatives. We're using the Behemoth card. Oh yeah, Chow also needs Passive Provoke and 50% or better evasion. All we need is 50 because we do accuracy down. Because turn 1, we don't have any kind of mitigation for physical at all, and we got to evade all the turn 1 stuff. And Passive Provoke. So there we go. Esther is on Golem. That way we can summon Golem on turn 3. Honestly, that might be optional. We might not need Golem on turn 3 to survive, but I did it for the extra layer of safety, and I think it helped. Guts in the base form, so Lucid Lenses. We've got LB damage versus humans and Reapers. Oh, I didn't quite max for LB damage. I thought I did. My bad. Okay, so let me fix that like right here before I forget. Where's Tyvis's Blink Gloves? There we go. That's what I should have had. My bad. I didn't even realize that. Fixed. So maxed LB damage, maxed Reaper, maxed Human. Here's the build we're using. And for people asking on my poll video which material did I choose, I went ahead and grabbed the Spectral Fields Forever from the shop for this Clash of Wills. You know, so that was my pick for the first one. Anyway, here is the build, that card. Shift form. Now the shift form, make sure you are not wearing the TMR or STMR. We do not want her Trust Passive activated in the shift form. Some LB fill, and you want to give her, I gave her Calamity Border for resistances on turn 1 and 2. Some Esper fill with Behemoth Synergy, and you want to gear the whole party in 110 light resist in their alternate form. That way, Calamity Border plus light resist makes us, and the modifier, makes us still immune to the AoE light damage on turn 2 when we imbue the boss. That way we don't lose morale. Because it won't deal any damage, we'll absorb it, but absorbing damage counts as the heal for the boss, and we don't want that. So 110 light resist on all their alternate forms. Base form Sky, just kind of whatever. Doesn't really matter. Tyvis' Spirit. Oh, no. Sky is an exception, because on turn 2, she shifted. So she just has to absorb it, and, you know, too bad. Double-handed Spear build. Guts in the shift form, because, again, that threshold, we want Guts so we don't die to the threshold. LB damage versus humans and Reapers, and she is maxed on everything. 6,000, 300, 300, 300. Maxed on everything. Did good damage. Frostblade Freevia in the base form is just kind of whatever. They're, you know, not really too important. The base form is almost irrelevant for her. Shift form is, now the shift form is wearing 150 light resist because she can fit it. It doesn't hurt her at all to do that. It's optional though. You don't really have to have that. It just helps your morale a tiny amount. Maxed on everything. Maxed LB, maxed Human, maxed Reaper is obviously her Clash of Wills. Here's the build. Even had a spare material slot with GF extension. Her own card. Her damage was garbage, as you saw, but she did have good ice support, which is what we needed. Roberta in the shift form is her alternate form this fight. 110 or better light resist. Other than that, you know, whatever. It's really all that matters. Base form is spear build, mage build, damage versus Reapers and humans. Here's the materials. She's maxed on everything as well. 7,500 maxed Reaper and 275 human. Can I fix that? Can I fix that? Not realistically without hurting her stats? Well, close enough. And then Kresnik started in the shift form with the Obsidian Bracer. Very important. Start him in the shift form with the, or start someone in some form with the Obsidian Bracer. That way we don't get mana drained. 50 or better evasion. Like I think I mentioned that the whole party needs 50 or better evasion, so we don't die on turn 1. Other than that, you know, whatever. It's kind of whatever. His guts, and I gave him Aurora Scarf in the base form. I should have dual wielded him. Actually, no, I shouldn't, because he's actually a chainer. So yeah, don't dual wield him. And 110 or better light resist. Okay, there was my perfect score on 270%. That last defense mod, I saw that Tafu already is passing me up on the leaderboard. He's got a 300% clear, and he didn't perfect score it yet. We'll take a look real quick. You know, congrats to Tafu. It's pretty cool. He's got a full modifier clear. Same team that I'm using, which is I feel like this is probably one of the like quote unquote meta teams for this event. He didn't damage cap yet, but it is possible. Like he's really close, so I'm sure it's just variance. It's a hard fight though, so it's still day 2 at this point. It's past midnight. Been working on this for a while. There you go though. So there is my clear, and hopefully it's informative. As far as alternatives go, Chow, no alternative. Kresnik, no alternative. Sky, no real alternative. She's the highest DPS. Roberta isn't really bringing anything critical, so Roberta could be swapped. All she's really here for is just pure damage. It's a lot of damage, but she's not like critical to the clear. Same thing for Esther. Esther is not doing anything critical for the clear, so you can swap them out for just, you know, DPS units. And as far as Freya goes, like she's doing the ice support. You could go to fire team with like Louise or something. Might work. Probably be less damage, but it's an option. Anyway, see you next time.